I have an addiction to getting absolutely destroyed in insanely hard games. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh my god. I saw clips of GunZ a couple years ago and it has always stuck in my head. And honestly, I remember thinking I could do that with a little bit of practice. So I decided to find out for myself. I've been told that GunZ is one of the hardest shooters ever made. So I gave myself 2 weeks to see how good I could actually get in that time frame. My goal was pretty simple. I wanted to get good enough to be able to join a clan war and not be completely useless. For those who don't know, the clan war is pretty much the ultimate form of competition within GunZ. You can join little groups and play against each other. But if I had to do this, I had to get good fast. The first day, I had no idea what I was doing. I had literally opened up the game for the first time. The menus were confusing me. I didn't know how to play the game. I didn't even know what the real competitive game mode actually was. Eventually, I figured out how to get into a practice room and started to look up how everyone was moving around on some anime shit, just flash stepping like characters out of Bleach. What am I looking at? This is actually some anime shit. And one of the things that make this game so skillful is the game wasn't actually originally meant to be played like this. The players discovered animation cancel combos that increased the skill gap so much it just absolutely took over the game. These mechanics became known as K-style. So I learned the most basic move you could possibly do first. Slash shot. Jump, dash, slash, switch, shoot. My first day was pretty much just figuring out my settings, learning slash shot, and just trying to move around without fucking everything up. After some practice, I kind of started to get it down. I couldn't do it in one motion, but you know, I knew I was gonna get there. The next day was massive progress and honestly one of the most important parts of this entire journey. I got rated by a pro called Yaju. He's an insanely good GunZ player and spent a lot of time helping me in chat, just trying to get better at the combos and teaching me stuff. He even gave me a golden ticket, which I didn't know this at the time, but it's the rarest item you can get in the game and allows you to get better shotguns with lower delay. Yeah, what is, oh my god, dude, what does that do? What does this mean? Dude, what? What did you just give me? I'm so confused. What does this do? The rarest item in the game? Why did you give me this, bro? What the hell? But most of these first couple of days were getting down my keybinds. This is something I didn't really think about at first, but keybinds are crazy important in a game where you're basically just spamming buttons the whole time, right? I ran into a bit of an issue. I use my scroll wheel with my index finger, and I got absolutely flamed in chat for that. A lot of people think it's weird as hell, but a lot of people use scroll wheel for multiple binds. A lot of the combos rely on you reloading and pulling out your sword pretty much at the same time, just barely offset. So those binds work for a lot of people, but for me, I was having to take my finger off of mouse 1 and then put it back, which was really difficult to do and kind of just was terrible. Now, I could have just relearned how to use my scroll wheel and started to use my middle finger, but since I only had 2 weeks, I didn't really want to take a big leap like that. So I decided to look for alternate binds that I could use, and I eventually found reload and sword on my mouse buttons. That way I could just press both of them, just barely offset like that. Throughout the 2 weeks, every stream kind of started off and ended the same. I would start it with a deathmatch, end it with a deathmatch. I would warm up on the first one, then I would go to the training room, learn my combos, and then I would end it trying to use the combos that I learned that day. I think it was pretty helpful, but I kind of started to run into some problems that I'll talk about later. The next few days were pretty much just spent living inside of the training room. And one of my viewers in chat, Monokin, he spent a lot of time just coaching me. He joined my training game and just sat there and taught me a bunch of moves. We even kind of got into the more advanced moves. He taught me wall post, shimmer, yo-yo. Every day there seemed to be a set of new mechanics and combos that I had learned, and I felt like I was just adding more and more to my toolbox and really felt myself getting better. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know what I was getting myself into when I first started this, but I felt like I was improving way faster than I expected once I actually realized the depth of the game. By day 5, I was already combining mechanics together and trying to string combos together in deathmatch. I did a slash shot and a double pump, and I was just kind of moving around the maps better. A deathmatch was starting to go all right. I would still go negative, but barely negative. And I genuinely, I started thinking maybe the hardest part of this game was just learning the combos, and I was going to be able to shit on people in no time, which is what I kind of originally had thought. And then day 6 came around. I ended the stream short, like very short. Now, at this point, I started thinking 1v1s were going to be a lot better practice for me than deathmatch. Just because deathmatch, you would always have someone come up behind and shoot you in the back. You know, it's got the same issue every game does with deathmatch. You can never get a true 1v1, which meant I could never fully use my combos without just dying very quickly. Turbo deathmatch is especially not good practice. It's kind of slop, but it's also really fun. It's basically all the guns do more damage, so you can kill someone with a double pump. Now, deathmatch gives you a lot of reps, but it doesn't give you a lot of quality fights, I think. Especially once I found out what the real competitive game mode is. It is team deathmatch. Think of like Counter-Strike, but without the bomb, or search and destroy for Call of Duty guys. There's rounds, and then when you die, you respawn in the next round. Why I ended up ending the stream short. This day, there wasn't many games going on. I didn't have a lot of choices, so I wanted to try a skill map. For those who don't know, skill maps are pretty much a parkour map that helps you get better at your movement. I did a write-up every day after I finished playing, saying what I learned, what I did, all that type of stuff. This was my exact quote after day 6. Also tried to do a skill map, and I don't think I'm ever touching those again for now. That shit was not possible at my level. Yeah, pretty bad. Oh, I give up. I give up completely. No skill maps. No skill maps. Banned. Banned. We're just playing this. Fuck it. I got a bit tilted doing the skill map, and I went into deathmatch. Now, I was already angry, and one of the things that was tilting me throughout this entire time was accidentally dashing. Laggy guy. Oh my god. And I moved back on accident. Oh. Oh my god. Oh. So dashing in guns is not pressing shift key. It is double tapping a movement key. I use a wooting. So if I let off my finger pressure on a key and then went down again, it would count as a dash every single time. So wootings can really help you here or just absolutely destroy you. You just got to get used to it, I think. I was just, it happened so many times. I had a full crash out to chat about the double tap. I just, not a proud moment, okay? Not a proud moment. I just keep fucking dashing on accident. Oh my god. Oh, I wish you could unbind fucking double tap dash. It's making me so tilted this entire time I've been playing this game. Why can't I just make it shift, man? I really want to know what more experienced guns players would think of this, but why don't we try a little dash with one button? You know, you hold down a movement key and then shift. Why don't we try that? I mean, I think it would be good for the game, maybe, but also it could decrease the skill gap. So I could see both arguments, but I would like some people to have a conversation, chat about that, because I thought, you know, or not chat, comment. Maybe we can start a conversation in the comments because it would help me out a lot. You guys could get angry and just have a full-on fight in there. That's cool with me. But I honestly think this is one thing that can stop a lot of new players from playing guns, just because it's not something that's used in any other games anymore. Everything has a specific dash key, and I think it just works better like that. But this day reminded me of something super important. Improvement is not linear. Everyone knows this. It's a basic fact. Despite me getting tilted almost the entire day, getting angry is just part of the improvement process. And really, like, sometimes it can just drive improvement. It can actually make you better to get angry, but you have to use it in the right ways. And here I did not. I had two choices. As soon as I started feeling that anger bubbling up inside of me, I could see red, continue getting angry, and eventually just have to get off. Or I could recognize what's making me angry here. Because whenever you recognize what's making you angry, sometimes that can be a massive gap in your skills that you can easily improve now that you've identified it. It's almost like it's like a sickness. You need to treat things that tilt you by practicing. You can practice it, or you can find a way to counter it if someone's doing something to you that's tilting you, whatever it may be. You get what I'm saying. But I got to the point where I was just making stupid decisions because of me getting angry already, and for that I just had to stop because it wasn't going to be helpful to keep going. I might actually just fuck up my learning process by continuing to play like an absolute dumbass. It's a waste of time. After the rough day, things started to come together a bit again. I started to 1v1 against Willow Blue in my chat, who is not new to GunZ, but he hasn't played it in a very long time and thought the servers were shut down. So whenever he saw me playing it, he wanted to join in. So we 1v1, and him being extremely rusty was good for me because it meant that I could kill him. Now, our 1v1 started off as me destroying him, then him getting closer, him getting closer, him getting closer, and eventually I think he would have absolutely destroyed me. But that never happened, so I still got one up on you, Willow Blue. Me and chat also started a deathmatch game on Small Garden, which was actually really fun. So Small Garden is a map that has a lot of walls. Now, I was trying to use this time to actually use the walls in the game. That's what a lot of the better players do, is they are just in the air half the time. So I was really trying to get used to that instead of just sitting on the ground, double pump, slash shot, the same move that I had been doing continuously. We actually had a long talk about movies, and I pulled up an old YouTube horror video of a guy that follows me, and we watched that. It was pretty cool. It was a pretty fun day. Then I did something I said I was never going to do again. I went back to the skill map. Okay, once I get this better be a celebration in chat. And this time, I was fucking committed. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. I'm a professional player. Okay, how do I... No! I actually finished it. And it honestly did not take that long. That was actually one of the biggest moments I think I had, because I was not accidentally dashing as much anymore. After doing these skill maps, it really taught me not to do that. And now I knew how to move around on the walls a lot easier. Then I had someone join my chat who was a GunZ player, and he started talking about late dash. Late dash? What is late dash? But they convinced me that I might be ready. Let me grab popcorn. Oh shit, okay. It's simple, but it's, what, hard to execute type of thing? Apparently, it is one of the biggest walls new players run into. Some people spend days trying to learn late dash, some weeks. Now, I'm in a lucky position. I had chat to help me with a bunch of experienced GunZ players. I had my input overlay on with my stream, so I was able to slow it down. So anyone else that learned this and it took them forever, don't compare your process to me, because I had a lot of tools at my disposal that a lot of people don't have. So I was watching now my slowed replays, and I realized I wasn't doing the dash back timing correctly. You pretty much have to do it all at once. It's like first 3 motions, next 4, all in the same time. It's really fucking hard. It is super hard. The window is small. But to do this, you almost have to prime your dash. You know how I said double tap a movement key is dash? You almost have to tap once before you do all this stuff, and then tap again as you're doing everything at the same time. It sounds super complicated, and honestly it is. It's really hard to think about when you're pressing 7 different buttons to prime something. I eventually got my first late dash in under an hour. I did it? I did it? Oh shit! Oh my god, okay. And then after that, I was just messing around after someone said I should try doing half step. I accidentally did the half step late dash. Just immediately after I did it. Half step? Not bad. Yeah, it's not the best. Half step is probably something I need to work on still, but I've been trying to... Whoa, what? What is that? I did the next late dash? Wait, really? What was it? What's the next late dash? What the hell? Let's just call that a win. I really actually surprised myself here, and chat was going nuts. That was a really fun day. That might have been my most fun day of this whole process. To get better at a lot of these combos, I was really trying to think of external versus internal thinking and how that could affect the improvement process of a game like this. So for an example, internal thinking would be thinking about your hand moving the mouse when you aim. I think especially for aiming, that is always bad. I think you want, unless you're trying to fix a problem like tension on the mouse, but your aim will suffer in game if you're doing that. So you want to focus on your opponent, keeping him in the middle of your screen, keeping your crosshair on him, whatever you want to do. But since this game is all about combos and it's almost like you are playing a piano, I was really wondering if an internal thinking would help here. And I was going back and forth between that and think about dashing as soon as my gun came out. So I was trying to like think about dashing way earlier than I was supposed to. As the usual answer with FPS games, external thinking was the best way for me to get it consistently. So keep in mind, I think both can be helpful, but usually external thinking is better for video games. This was just a crazy fucking moment because late dash, almost no newer players actually get to that point. So at this point, I was feeling like I was super ahead of schedule. Although now I know how deep the game went with movement combos, I knew I had so much more to go if I really wanted to not be useless. I decided to play some more deathmatch to really set in everything I had learned. Playing this deathmatch caused me to have a bit of a realization. Now, this is day 11, right? 3 days until it ends. I stopped struggling to learn new mechanics, but I was still struggling to play guns. I knew the moves, I just didn't know when to use them when I needed to. In this game, there's a massive difference between knowing a combo and knowing when to use it and using it at a subconscious level. There's 3 things there. And I started to get so tired of playing the same 3 maps and 3 modes. All I had was deathmatch on mansion, 1v1s, and big team deathmatch on garden. And I wanted to give the big leagues a try. I wanted to try normal team deathmatch. And it honestly kind of changed the way I looked at the game. Team deathmatch was the actual game, and it forced me to think about positioning, health, supporting teammates, decision making. It was all slower, and it felt more like games that I was used to playing where you actually have to think about all these things rather than just running around pressing as many buttons as possible like deathmatch was. And even I had some not too bad rounds, but every death I got to reflect after I died, since, you know, you gotta spectate your teammates. And it kind of allowed me to think about, you know, what I'm doing wrong here, what I'm doing wrong there. But it also just gave me that same realization. I just don't know when to use these combos that I know. It did feel like a refreshing change, and it kind of reignited my passion for learning this game, because it was starting to dwindle a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, I got really tired of the deathmatch. I really enjoyed how there had to be actual thoughts behind each one of my movements. Last couple of days of this challenge gave me really mixed feelings. One, I had fucked up my sleep schedule by playing Pal World, and I was adjusting to my 11 p.m. showing of the Odyssey and did not want to fall asleep during it. I was running out of time to get good enough for Clan Wars, and I could really feel it slipping out of my hands. It was just getting farther and farther away. Not because I wasn't improving, but honestly, because I was improving, I was realizing how hard the process actually was. Looking back, when I started this entire thing, I didn't know what good enough to be in Clan Wars actually meant at all. I genuinely, look, I know this may be a bit ignorant of me, but I thought after I learned all the combos, I was going to be able to be in the top percentage of the game like I do usually. Now I realize that was not the case at all. That was just the beginning. I scratched the surface. I really wanted to end this challenge with something big to show how much I had improved, but I just couldn't figure out what to do. And you know, the problem with small player count games is sometimes there's just nothing happening. And one of the things that was also going around my brain was, how well does learning guns translate into other FPS games? Could I take skills from guns and use it on anything else? Kind of like how I did with LG. So in a way, I think it can help with a more reactive dynamic clicking style, which also could help in games like Counter-Strike and Valorant. Possibly. I wouldn't think of it as practice for those games though. This is a little bit too much to learn front load on combos that don't have to do with aim. But if you're interested in the game, fucking play it, man. But I have something exciting to talk about if you are interested in it right after this next section. Now, the reason this game and a lot of arena FPS games with massive skill gaps keep bleeding players, I think, is something that I call the skill gap paradox, okay? The games with small player counts, the player base fits into two categories. You have the more experienced players and the people that have picked it up for the first time and trying it out. There's usually none of the mid-level players that you would see in other big games. That is the majority of the player base. However, I think there is a portion of those new players that will actually stick it through, like me. And then you get to this midpoint where, so you either destroy someone without them having a chance, or get destroyed without really having a chance. And neither is great practice and neither is very fun. And this kind of stops the player base from growing because eventually that mid player might quit. For all my mid players out there like me, you can eventually break through that barrier to become a more experienced player. It just takes a lot of getting shit on. And you know, that's okay. It is also frustrating, and understandably so. But there are some people that played GunZ in my chat who started learning 2 years ago. And this game has been out since 2003, and they're really good now. Another way to fix this is a massive wave of new players all starting the game. And this is what I was saying is very exciting. So, GunZ the Duel is officially re-releasing on Steam. I believe it releases August 11th. They have a playtest going at the time of this recording, but I don't think it'll still be out when the video comes out. But I got to play a little bit of it today and yesterday. It's actually really fun. It is missing some things, like there's no damage numbers and stuff like that, which I hope they will put in, but it feels really good. It honestly feels more responsive and snappy than Freestyle GunZ did. If you made it to this point in the video, I think you should wishlist it on Steam because it's a super fun game, and I really hope I can bring more attention to it because I think a lot of people would fall in love with this. Only you can fix the skill gap paradox. If you notice that I'm wearing the same fucking shirt as the last video, you're not allowed to comment anything about it, okay? It wasn't on purpose. I swear to God, just don't comment on it. Don't say anything, or else you're banned forever. But thank you guys for watching. I'm trying to use YouTube to help pay for my student loans. So if you guys want to sub, that would help me out a lot. I can't believe we blew past 1,000 subs. I didn't think I was going to get more than 100 subs from the last video, but I ended up more than doubling my sub count, which is pretty crazy. Yeah, thank you guys so much. See ya.